Hello and how are you? My name is Muhindo Mbarak and I welcome you to our 15th lecture of learning how to make mobile application using Flutter. In today's video, we are going to look at, we're going to dig deeper and into local databases. You remember in the previous video, we were able to do a complete, almost a complete create, read, update and delete functionalities of a local database using Sqflite. So today we are going to see how we can implement a real application using Sqflite. I'm going to do a simple application within this application where we can do everything. I'm going to do the logic of checking if someone is logged in or not logged in, and if someone is logged in, they should proceed to the to a certain protected screen, and they should also be able to log out. And maybe we are going to make, we're going to make an application. That application will be used as maybe a diary, not even maybe. We are going to make a diary book. So in order to proceed into that diary book, we should be able to log in. So once you log in and you're successful, then you'll be able to do what? To allow you access that diary book. You can save in your secret information. You can edit it. You can delete it, and you can also add more. So, and you can also view it, and it will also be protected. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So in this in that application, you're going to learn many things. You're going to learn how you can do the protection of a certain section by using the login and logout logic. So in this video, you're going to learn how you can create in simple terms. You can create something that will manage the login. Okay, like login. If you want to make an application where users can log in and log out, so this is the application you're going to learn all those things, and also maybe also mastering the local database. So I want you to be very attentive in this 40 minutes. We have already taken 3 in this lecture. I want you to be very attentive, because the knowledge that you're going to learn from this lecture, it will be very important for you in your application development path. So let's go straight into our today's business. So this is an application that we always do, that always use to practice with. These are the topics that we have already covered, all of these ones. So today we're going to add here just a application called diary book or my diary, something like that, and it will be just an independent application within this application. And as I've said, it will be protected, and when someone access it, I'll check if they're logged in. So in that my diary, what you're going to do inside there, okay, I've already explained that. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's go straight into business. So here I'm going to put an access where you can go to that particular diary, right? And before we even put the access, so the first thing that you're going to do, you're going to design a simple structure of that diary. So if you didn't know, here where you have pages, okay, in this place where you say you have pages, you can even put as many things as you want. So inside this, I'm going to put another folder for my separate application, or for this diary application, and to make things much more organized. Okay, you can as well put them on the same screen. Okay, you can as well put them on the same folder, but let's I don't know, I think we should keep them in one folder, separate folder. We're going to have that application of diary. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'll come here to our folder, and then I right click new, and I'm going to create a separate folder. I'm going to call it diary. Diary, I think, is the one which starts with A. Is it diary book? Okay, diary app. Diary. I hope that's the spelling of diary, I hope. Or can begin with the word app, since it is going to be just an application. So app diary. So this is where we're going to put those files that are related to diary, the diary book. Okay, so I hope that the spelling of diary, I think the one of diary starts with A. Let's make sure that the spelling is correct. Diary meaning, okay, I think it's for the book. A book, which is okay. So it is for that book. All right, so the spelling is correct. So inside this one, we're going to begin by putting the landing screen, which we're going to use as the login screen. Okay, we're going to put the landing screen, and after the landing screen, what you call splash screen, and then after that landing screen, we are going to put the login screen, and then after the login screen, we are going to put now the diary logic inside there. Okay, so it's going to be like a complete application within this application. So I'm going to come here and create a new file inside this one. I'm going to call it splash screen, or they call it onboarding screen. Okay, so I can call it maybe diary. So every file that is about diary, maybe I can be giving it to the word app, then diary, like this, to make it organized. I can just write it separately. I don't know, it's just the way how you want to organize the things. Let me call it app diary. Okay, and then I put the name of the file. I can put maybe one here, one app diary, then the name of the file. Is this acceptable? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so the file is going to be landing. Okay, landing, or you can say onboarding, or you can say maybe first screen or splash screen, something like that. So this is the screen where someone will be landing on when they are when they want to access this this logic, this diary application. So I'm going to say landing, and then after we're going to put here .dat. Okay, like this. So it's going to be the landing screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that landing screen. So we can just simply come and copy one of the screens here, for example. Okay, we can just create it one. We can create it here from one. So it's going to be a stateless screen. It will not be having a state. Yes, I think. Yeah, it will not have a state. So it's going to be stateless screen. Okay, so like that. So the name is going to be app. So every screen here can begin it with app diary, something like that. App diary landing page or screen, like this screen. So put here, then press Alt and enter, we import. So there we go. So that is our landing screen. So for the diary app, this one here inside this directory. So I want to put here on home page where I can open that application for diary. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll come to our home page. You can see our home page is here, and then you're going to come here where there is this list. I'm going to duplicate it, and then after duplicating it, I'm going to call it diary app. Okay, diary app. Okay, and then here privately. Okay, my private diary app, I don't know, private diary app, whatever. Okay, well, just let's call it like that. So let's put a relevant icon. So icon data, it can be maybe we do have a book of icon book. Yeah, I think we have book like this, right? So the rest is okay. So that is our diary app. Now we want to put here when someone clicks on this, you should go to this one, app diary landing screen, this one. So if I save, I click there, this is the diary app. So when I click there, we have this placeholder. Very good. So in here, we're going to put on here, we're going to put now the screen of landing. So we're going to just simply put here a scaffold. So again, just put scaffold. All right, and then put color. You can put blue. All right, so and then you put here like this. Okay. Okay, so let's put background color. Okay. So we can put here automatically, I think. You see. Okay, so so I hope we are together there. Diary app. So I don't want, okay, let me just remove everything, and I shouldn't leave you behind. So there we go. So I hope you can see there. So when I click here, I have just this scaffold, only the scaffold. You can see it is just nothing but a scaffold. So here I'm just going to put the body, and then inside this body I'm just going to put center, and then I put maybe diary app like this. Okay, diary app. Okay, all right, let me just put center, and then maybe put the icon of what, of diary app. So it's going to be icon of a book. All right, yeah. Okay, so let me make this one blue. So if I save like this, good. So I think that's okay. So I can maybe make here a colon and put here maybe loading text, and put here loading. Okay, let's remove this. Let's just keep it simple. All right, so this is just a column with a center, and then let me remove this. This is just nothing but a center, and it is having an icon of diary in front, in the middle of it, like this. So I hope you understand here. So if I come back here, I click here, it's just this icon. Okay, just this icon. So that's our application where to be beginning from. Okay, so after doing that, so the next thing is we're going now to check if the user is logged in or not logged in. So this is like when the application starts, before they take you anywhere, they check if someone is logged in or someone is not logged in. So if you're logged in, they send you to the application. If you're not logged in, they send you to the what? To the login screen. So let us create first the login screen, and then after creating the login screen, we can create now we create the login screen. We should have it in load pending, and then we should also have the application, the home page of the landing page of the diary page, of the diary book. Let's first create those ones. Okay, let's go ahead and create those. Okay, so I'll come here and okay, let's first create those ones. So I'll come here and just simply come, and I can duplicate this very one. Let me duplicate this very one, and then I paste it. So I'm going to call this one number 2, and I'm going to change here, instead of landing, I'm going to put login screen. Okay, login screen. So let me come here and change the name. Press Ctrl F, Alt and Enter, and then change the name. So it's going to be App Diary Login Screen. Okay, like this. Okay, login screen. Okay, so after the login screen, let me come here. So this is the login screen. So in the login screen, maybe you can just remove these funny things, and then just simply put an app bar, and then we can just simply put there an app bar. You know how to create an app bar, and then we call it maybe login, diary app login. Okay, like this. All right, so yeah, like this. So that will be the login screen, and then you can duplicate that login screen, and then you say maybe the home screen or the main screen. So it's going to be diary number 3, and it's going to be diary app home. Okay, so that's going to be our app. So I'll come to this file number 3 and change this one. Instead of having login screen, I'm going to put here home screen, and then copy that and then put it here as home screen. So you're going to be diary app home screen. I can say my diary. Once you log in, say my diary. Say maybe home. So like this. So yeah, we are together right there. Okay, so now we have those 3 main screens: the one for loading, the line for landing, the one for login, and the one for the main home. So in here, the one for the landing here, it's where we're going to be checking if someone is logged in or not logged in and redirect. So if someone is logged in, we take them to the home screen. If he's not logged in, take him to the login screen. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So what we're going to do, we're going to listen to the what you call the init status. So I want, when someone opens this application, it should automatically call the function of initializing. So that function, you just override here, it's called init. So just write init, you'll see init state. Okay, so init state here, I can just simply say so I say utils dot pop, I mean dot toast. Remember, I have our toast what? Our toast function. So you see, welcome to the app. So this will be called automatically. Is it? Did you override it? I think it's supposed to be read init state. Can it work there? Let me see. No, it can't work. It has to be stateful widget. I think it must be stateful widget. So to change this stateless widget to stateful, just move your mouse over here, press Alt and Enter, and then you'll see convert to stateful widget. Where is it? First, move your mouse here, press Alt and Enter. You see, convert to stateful widget, or you can click on the other bulb on this one. So it is now stateful widget. So in this stateful widget, just come here in the what? In the state, inside the state here, and then listen to init state like this, init. So it will override init state. So here it is where something will be called when the function, when the application opens. So I can put here my login check function, login check, okay, function like this. Just say putil, util toast, and then say checking. I mean, so I say here util dot toast, and then say login check, something like that, just to check if this function is called. So this function will be called by the operating system automatically when this screen opens. So I have to call this login function here like this. So it will check if someone is logged in. This is going to do that logic. So let's go back and then go ahead, click here, you see, login check. So it has been called automatically. All right, so you're going to create now, so shall we have also registration? I think we'll also need the registration since, we should have only the, okay, let's have also the registration maybe, since we need to do the whole logic. Okay, so let's go ahead. You're going to have a registration. In case you don't have an account, you can create an account, right? So here it's will be checking the login check. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to have now the models that we're going to need in this application. So we're going to need the user model. So the user model, it will help us to save the data of a person who is logged in. Okay, and then the other model that we'll need, the second one, will be the model of now the diary records. Okay, so let's begin by creating the user models. So to do that, we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and do what, and create our models, right? So I don't know whether I should put the models inside this diary book or should just put them here. So it is just up to you. Let's go ahead and put our models here. Okay, so I'm going to put here the model of what? Of user. So right click and then say new file. Okay, new file. So I'm going to call it user model, or you can call it maybe logged in user model. Okay, logged in user model, logged in user model that. So this is the model that we'll be using for checking the person who is logged in or not. That will be using to save the person who is logged in. All right, so let's go ahead and create the model. So I'll just simply say class, and then I give the model a name, and then open curly bracket like this. So let's go ahead and collect the information. So we're going to have, let me remove this. Okay, we're going to have, it will have an ID. this ID it will be an integer, and by default it will be 0, and then it will have a string of a name of a person who is logged in, and then maybe his username, and then their password. String and their password. Okay, as simple as that. All right, so that is the model. So let's go ahead and do the logic of getting the logged in user, doing all that. So we're going to begin by doing the logic of saving the logged in user. All right, okay, let's begin with getting the logged in user. Okay, so we'll be doing logic per requirement. So it means that we're going to need, first of all, the table name. So it is better you create the table name here statically, and then you'll be calling it anywhere in one place. So it's going to be static, and then static final maybe say table name, and the table name is going to be, maybe you can give it anything, logged in. You can give it even the same name of a class, okay, of this one. So logged in user table or anything. So logged in user, that's how I've called it, the name of the table. So it should be constant, okay. So logged in, table name, or can call it table or table name, anything that you want. So the table name that we'll be using is called logged in user. That's what we'll be calling. This is what we'll be saving the records of person who is logged in. All right, so after doing that, so let's write a function that can get the logged in user. All right, so it's going to be let's first get the function that can get, okay, let's write the function that will be getting the logged in user. So since it will be delaying, so what does it mean? It means you'll have to write future and then put logged in user, and you say it is expecting logged in user. So I can say get logged in user, logged in. So it's going to be static function, by the way. So it's going to be static because it should be independent. Start, and then it will be promising to return logged in user, and they say get logged in user like this. All right, okay. So what we're going to be doing here, since maybe it will be one person that will be logging in at a time, so what you're going to do, you're just going to be getting anyone, any function, any object that is saved in this database, and then we just return that one, since it will be one phone. But you can do multiple logics where you can have multiple users who can change accounts, something like this. But since it's going to be just only one phone, one person to use at a time, so we're going to be having one logged in user. So the first thing we're going to begin, so I have to put here asynchronous. So we're going to begin by, so I can say maybe logged in user u equals to logged in user, and then we return this one here. So inside between here, so we're going to do the logic. So we're going to begin by checking if the database is initialized. So you know, have the database function that checks. So I can call here db equals to await utils dot get db. Remember that. Is it the get db? Get db like this. Is it init db or get db? I don't know. Let's check this function for initializing the database. You called it open db. So this one. So we check if this database is null, we return a u. So return the user. So if it is null, okay, we return, just say return the database. Or can just simply make a toast and say utils dot toast and say failed to do what? To open database like this, and then we return the user who is not logged in here. So after doing that, the next thing is we're going to do what? We're going to select from the table. So it's going to be db. We're going to get the maps first of all. So it's going to be list of maps, and then you say await, then db.query, and then you say we get all the logged in user, or we get everything that is in this table. All right, so if there is anything there, it will be able to come from here. Or can write to SQL by saying select. then. But if you just write like this, it will get all things that are in this one. So we check if this map is nothing. If is empty, then you say you are not logged in. Okay, no logged in user, something like this. All right, we just return back like nothing. It means that here there is no logged in user. All right, so after doing that, we can just simply make a toast. You are not logged in. You are not logged in, like this. So like that. Okay, so if in case this is empty, it returns empty. So if it's not empty, what you're going to do, you're going to pass this and collect the what. We're going to change this object into what, into an object. This is, we're going to change this map into an object. So we're going to check. Okay, let's write the file. I mean the function that converts from JSON to what, to the object. So going to be from, okay, it's going to be static function, and just write from what, from JSON, so it will be accepting a map, and then a map of what, of string dynamic, and then to create an object, and then it will collect ID what and what, and then return that object. So this is the logic of converting any data from what, from JSON. So after doing that, we're going to just get here the first element. So after we have checked that there's no element there, so we're going to just say you, after we have checked that if there's no element, you should return from here. So you is just going to be equal to logged in user from JSON, and then you say maps.first. Here .first will get the first object, okay, and then call this method and then return first the JSON. So we don't need to loop, and then we return the logged in user. So like this, we'll be able to do what, to get the logged in user. However, we have not initialized our table, so we have to make sure that the table is initialized, right? So let's go ahead and do that table initialization. We can go ahead and copy from this database that we had done before. How did we init table, initialize table? This is how we initialize the table. So let me copy this one, and then we modify from the other side. So let's go ahead and make sure that the table is initialized here like this. So this is going to be returning a string. If it returns something in a string, we'll know that there is an error. If it doesn't return anything, we'll know there is no error. So it will accept a table, a database. So if it checks if the database is null, it returns from there. So after it writes the we write the SQL create table. If not exist, you must put that one, if not exist. So our table is going to be right now is going to be called logged in user model dot table name, okay, and then we create the what, the table. So ID integer primary key, and then you have to put your auto increment. That is a very important thing. I think we did not do it in the previous class. Okay, we can do auto increment, something like this. Or since it will be just one user, we can make sure that it doesn't auto increment. Okay, we'll be just checking if it is 0, we say maybe invalid ID, right? Okay, it can auto increment. Let's make it auto increment to make it automatically. So I come here, Sqflite, and then look for that auto increment logic. So auto increment, this is how you write it. So okay, so primary key, after primary key, then auto increment. Okay, so I'll just come and copy this one. So our ID is going to be integer primary key, and then auto increment like this. And then we'll have after that we'll have what, we'll have the name, which is text, and then we'll have the name of a person, then we'll have the username, which is also text, and then we have the what, the password, which is also text. Make sure that you don't put a comma at last. Okay, like this. You can put here. So that is our SQL. It is straightforward. I can even attach this one to here by doing like this. All right, so this SQL is straightforward. Create table if not exist, and then I put the table name, and then say I open the bracket, I close it from here. Integer ID is an integer, and it's a primary key, and it's auto incrementing. A name is a text, username is a text, and also password is text, like this, as simple as that. Okay, so if it fails, I return that I return something here in the string that this table was failed to be created because of this. So if it does not fail, I just empty the what? If it does not fail, I empty the response. I make sure that the response is empty. So on the other side, we'll be checking if the response is empty, we'll notice success. If the response is not empty, then we know that it has failed, and then we'll have a reason. Okay, so we have to make sure that this table is initialized. Okay, so let's come here to, after making sure the database is initialized, the next thing we have to make sure that the table is initialized. So I need table. You see, you need table. So I can maybe say string to check if the table was success. String table, maybe response equals to await init table, and we give it database. You see, so I check if response is nothing. If response is not empty, then we'll know there is a problem. Okay, we toss the response. So that is when the response is not empty. Otherwise, if the response is empty, then we know everything is okay. So like this. So like this, we'll be able to know if the user is logged in or not. Good. So that's it. I think that's it. Right. So what we're going to do, we'll make sure that the ID of a user is always greater than 1. Since it is not incrementing, that's when you can know that, okay, the user is logged in or not. All right. Okay. Or you can even write a function that can check if the user is logged in or not. Okay. So let's write that function. So it's going to be just a static. Oh yeah, we can make it static, something like that, and then check if someone is okay. Let's just be calling this. I don't know how I should do it. Okay, let's just call it. Let's write the function that will be checking if someone is logged in or not. Static future string is going to check. Okay, it's static future and then string, and then you can call it is logged in. So if you return something in the string, then you know someone is not logged in. It will give the reason. Okay, or you can make it maybe even a boolean, right? Make it a boolean. So this function, it will be just getting the user. So I'll just write here logged in user u equals to await. So I have to make it asynchronous here. Await, then say get logged in user. See, it is just calling this function to get the logged in user. So I check if u is less than 1, then I know the ID is 0. Okay, so I say if u dot id is less than what? Is less than 1. So I know someone is not logged in. So I return false. If it's greater than 0, I return true. So like this, I'll be able to know if someone is logged in or not. So this is a function that depends on this one. This one gets for you the user who is logged in, and I've gone through the logic. This one gets the person who is logged in. All right, let me just go through the logic only one more time. So time is even up. So let me go through the logic only one more time. So you see here, I'm initializing the database. Sorry. Let me begin from here. Here we create the what? The variables. Then here we get the logged in user. So to get the logged in user, we just simply say we initialize the database, and we say if database is null, we just we say that we make a toast, fail to initialize the database, and then we return this user. Remember, this user does just has a default ID of 0 according to this. So after doing that, we initialize the table. So in the table, we make sure that it is returning nothing. If it doesn't return nothing, I mean an empty string, then we know there's a problem. And you've seen how we've written the logic of creating a table. So we check here, if the response from the table is not empty, then you know something went wrong. We make a response and then return again the user from here. So if everything is okay, now we go ahead and select all the users in the in that particular table of logged in. Okay, so after doing that, we go ahead and we go ahead and users table. So go ahead and say you're not logged in if there is nothing. So if there's some user, I wrote this JSON function that converts the map from a map of string dynamic, and it returns back in an object way. And this is the function that we wrote. It's just a static function that is written as from JSON. It accepts the map like the way it is here in a JSON format, and then it creates an object of user, and then after it says id equals to that what and what, and then it returns the user who is the user after it has converted that particular user. So here I get that one, and then I return this one user. So like this, I'll be able to do what? To know the user who is logged in and the user who is not logged in. Then after, I return. So I've written this function that we'll be using to check if someone is logged in or not. It will be a feature function, and then we'll be calling it, and then we can use it to decide whether someone is logged in or not. All right. So let's go ahead and now do the logic of checking if the user is logged in or not. So I'll come and do it from from this landing, right, inside this initialize table. So it's going to be asynchronous. It's going to have a wait. Good. So we just go ahead and say if, so maybe can write here some boolean and say is logged in, and then you say you await, and then you say logged in user dot is logged in. You see this function that we just wrote, this one. So to do the whole logic of checking if someone is logged in or not, so I'll tell you true or false. Okay, is logged in. So I come here and make a toast, if is logged in, I toast. Let me just make a toast. I don't know how to navigate. Utils the toast and say logged in. Okay, if it's not logged in, not logged in, something like this. All right, so that's very nice. Okay, that's very nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and check. So click here, you see you are not logged in, so everything is working without any error. Click here, you are not logged in. I hope you can see that you are not logged in. All right, so everything is okay. So everything is okay. Now let's go ahead and redirect. So if it's logged in, I want to push. And then take this person to what? To their home screen. If it's not logged in, I take this person to the what? To login screen. I hope you understand that. All right, so I check if the user is not is logged in. I send them to what? To the home screen. If the user is logged in. If he's not logged in, I send them to the what? To the app screen. So come back here. You see, it sends them to the login screen. Come back. I send them to the app screen. Okay, so now you see the problem is it is not even showing that it is loading. Okay, so let's put that delay. So to put that delay, I'll come here to this check. So I can put some delay so someone can see that our logo. So to put a delay, just write await, and then you say future dot what? Dot delay, delayed, and then put duration, and then say seconds. So you can say maybe 5 seconds. So I want when someone comes here, it should just show. So I can say maybe put here utils dot toast and then say loading. Okay. So I want when someone comes here, it should show loading and then it should delay for 5 minutes. I meant for 5 seconds. Then after delaying, it takes that person now to the what? To uncheck whether if someone is logged in or not, and then redirect them. Or we can check and then delay after checking. Let's go ahead and see now how it delays. So open there, you see it is now delaying, and then after 5 seconds you're not logged in, and then it takes you there. You see, otherwise it did not make sense. Okay, so now you can see it is delaying, loading, and then takes you to the right place after 5 seconds you're not logged in. All right, that's so beautiful. Okay, so our 40 minutes are over. We'll begin from there on Monday in the next lecture. So guys, make sure that you practice. Make sure that you're on the same page with me. Don't accept to be left behind. Make sure that you understand this logic. So in the next lecture, now we're going to put here the login screen. We are going to put the create account screen, and see how we can do a complete application that has the authentication and the records management. Okay, so let's meet in the next class where we're going to proceed in from this level, and make sure that you don't miss, and make sure that you're not left behind. Goodbye.